Hello, everybody. This is episode 22 of In the Know, a daily short form podcast show which is aimed at putting people in the know. A show where I cover a variety of topics using my experiences and viewpoints in life to put people in that know. What is the know? It's the understanding that seems to be hard for people to grasp, which will make their lives a lot simpler. The following is an intro speech into today's topic, and that introduction speech is why you should not be waiting until the last minute to do coursework. You see, as a young person in school, I was always waiting until the last minute in order to complete my coursework. And all it did was place me behind in my classes. So as I became an adult, I had to learn that doing things ahead of time will help me dedicate time to other things in life that are just as, if not much more important. Even with this podcast, I have to work ahead of time so that the episodes are ready once they need to be released. So the following is I have some ideas and some advice for those of you who like to wait until the last minute to do your coursework. So you should never wait last minute. Let's look at some classes, for example. Let's look at math. When you're working on mathematics, then I encourage you to go home immediately because being good at math is like learning a foreign language. You have to really work that muscle because this is a tough subject. So when you don't go to work on it immediately, you will forget everything you learned in class. And now you're that kid back in the classroom who knows nothing about the subject matter. Let's look at science. This is another subject that you have to perform immediately. And the reason being is that the number one, you have to know the terminology. This may be even more difficult than working the math because you're talking about not only equations, but scientific terminology. And so waiting and holding off the last minute could mean more disastrous outcome than the person who waited last minute to work on mathematical equations. Social studies, a class about making informative decisions regarding how the world operates, is something that students like to put off. This is a course that a lot of people tend to put off because there are no equations. So when students get the work, they put it away and try to work on their coursework the night before. People also in these types of courses really love to wait, especially on tests and quizzes, because there's an ability to guess and somehow get a good grade with the multiple choice selection. Now let's look at English. We seem to think that just because I speak English, this course should be easy, and that is the mind frame that most have when approaching this course. They wait really long and hard when it comes to this course to perform tasks. And what's problematic is that teachers and professors are paying close attention. They have seen all the tricks being made. So when they see students just filling up paper space in order to finish their work, you can tell they didn't really spend time on this and just rush through. Well, let's look at history class. This is one of those in between courses where you have to be able to pay attention very closely because you're not always going to be given multiple choice questions on quizzes and tests. You also need to pay attention to the fact that statements and questions may be asked of you to be answered out written form. And the teacher and professor will be able to understand when someone is just making up information just to fill space, like those social studies students. Geography. In these courses, we really do ourselves an injustice because in a school assignment that involves this course, you can get away with performing your work last minute. And here's where so many students make mistakes. Because even though this course is easier to wait to work on, you can negatively impact your grade if you do not take enough time in this course. Now, your overall grade point average is impacted. So know what you're doing before you decide to slack off in this course. Now, when we're talking about waiting last minute, let's think about coursework that's given. When to start? The best way to start the work you are given in class is to go straight home and complete the work, especially when the courses are for multiple classes. And I would encourage you not to wait last minute because it's hard enough trying to wait for one class last minute, but now you have to perform all the courses last minute. Now you have to mix social studies with mathematics and science with understanding history. Now, waiting last minute, let's look at class projects. When do you start? When a class project is given to you, you must start immediately. But of course, most students say to themselves, hey, I have the entire semester. And here's when you are on the road to waiting until the last minute to complete this. And now you're trying to cram everything into 1 week or even a few nights before. This becomes a lot more stressful. So, how should we decide how to go about taking on these various due dates? Let's look at the due dates. When it comes to figuring out how to structure your work around due dates, here as follows. Homework given on Monday for a Friday due date, you're supposed to finish that work by Wednesday so that you can review your work by Thursday, and then you can make some last minute adjustments. A quiz that is set for 3 weeks from now regarding the first 5 chapters, you should take additional notes from the book, not in class, and looking over the notes you can prepare yourself leading up to the day of the exam. And major projects you have due at the end of the semester, you should be collecting information research for at least half the semester. The second half of the semester should be structuring and performing the task at hand. How do we fix procrastination? Learn from me. I've said this before and will say it again. I used to be a major procrastinator. Now I work on things ahead of time because I have to earn a living. This is where you have to step up to the learning curve quickly. So spare yourself the time because my life came together, but it took me way too long to do so. So learn from my mistakes. And with the end statement, why we should never wait last minute to complete work. When waiting for the last minute to complete work, you're only putting yourself in a place to be under constant pressure. You don't want to find yourself in a position where you're rushing through your work you are performing. Then what you do is put out bad work. Yet, if you had completed everything in a timely fashion, your grades would reflect the hard work you put in. So never wait until the last minute. Get it done now and worry about other important things soon after that require more of your time. So, thank you for listening to In the Know, and can't wait to bring the next episode where we talk about how to maintain your grade A throughout the entire semester.